Hey out there, MGTOW, this is Stuart again. I was just watching the Sunday throwdown today between Warhorse and I think it's Traversable, MGTOW, and whoever else was on there. I know I'm missing the other guys. I don't know everybody's name yet, but I've been watching you guys for a while. Anyway, but I have to say that Warhorse really gets it. Like, Warhorse understands that when you get government involved in all this stuff that we've got them involved in, then you end up with all these problems. And because that's what we have done is the only things that the federal government is really supposed to do is issue our money and protect our borders. That's it. And those are the two things that they will not do. They've given the issuance of our currency over to the Federal Reserve, and we all know that the borders are wide open and that we make it practically impossible for people to get in here legally, but we just leave the door wide open for people to come in illegally. So, and they were talking about the FDA and the medical system and taxes, and I made some points here on as far as the federal taxes. The numbers are, in case people want to really know, the feds take about 1/3 or so of what we earn. Anybody who works a job and sees their paycheck after taxes knows that they take like 25-30%, usually. Depends on the tax bracket. It could be almost half, depending on how much money you make. But they take about 1/3 on average of what we earn. And we get back about 30 cents on every dollar. Okay. So, in services. So the 70% goes to, I guess, the bureaucracy, or whatever, who knows, right back to the banks, to the big central banks probably, or that we owe the debt to on the interest for the for the money they print at the Federal Reserve. Which is why people, once again, should not be forced to give. It's the liberals. I'm going to make a point here too, and then I'm going to talk about another issue that I think I want to talk about how they get. I want to talk about some things I learned from Mark Passio, from as far as the difference between force and violence, and some of the things that another lady, Charlotte Iserby, talks about, how they get our young boys to rebel. If you don't know who Charlotte Iserby was, she was the secretary at the Department of Education in the federal government, and she resigned and left the country, if that's any indication, and will never live here again, if that's any indication of what she saw going on in our education system. So anyway, let me get back to, that's another problem. We let the FDA and the American Medical Association tell all these doctors what to do. And if the doctors don't do exactly what they're told to do by the FDA and basically the American Medical Association, the AMA, then they lose their license to practice, right? On the other hand, I don't have any sympathy for the doctors, because a lot of the doctors know what they're doing is wrong, or they don't know, and that means they're not that smart and they shouldn't be doctors. They just basically memorized and regurgitated information in college and didn't look past their nose. But the ones who do know, they just do it anyway because they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose their their trophy wives and their hot rods. So I don't really have any sympathy for the doctors, because if they don't know, they should know, and they shouldn't be doctors. If they don't know, they should know, and they shouldn't be doctors. And if they do know, they're not doing the right thing and standing up against all this stuff with the overprescription of opiates and all these pharmaceuticals that are killing more people than guns, by the way. So anyway, yeah, there's that. That's what I wanted to talk about, just some things that I noticed. And they were talking about how we're never going to change this. Well, what will change this is a little thing called breakaway societies, and that's kind of what MGTOW is. We are becoming a breakaway society. We don't have our legs yet. We don't, as in we're not like connected, and we don't have a lot of platforms like I was talking about. Like I'm telling you, man, we really need like a website. We really need to get like-minded people together, but somehow, some way. But I'm not going to be the leader of that because I'm not going to be the one. But I will throw ideas out there. So, yeah, the difference between force and violence is very important, and men should know this in this country, because you've been taught that anytime you protect yourself, or anytime you do anything, like say like when someone's like, oh, we got to use our Second Amendment, and everyone's like, oh, we don't want to get violent. No. If a criminal mugs you in an alleyway, he's using violence. He's violating your rights. Okay? If you pull out a gun and you shoot that criminal dead right there in the street, you shoot that mugger dead right there in the street, you didn't use violence. You used force. You simply used the force of your finger pulling the trigger, and the force of that explosion causing an explosion, and the force of that explosion propelling your bullet forward and parking it in that piece of garbage's heart. Okay? You protected your rights. Therefore, you used force. You did not use violence. You were not violating anybody's rights. You were protecting your own rights. You were protecting yourself. You were protecting your money and your life. Okay? So that's a very important thing to know, because we can arm ourselves against this and get the government to start doing what it's supposed to do and get them off of our backs. That is our right. Just treat the whole situation that we are in with the courts and the government. You need to think about it like a mugger in the street, or a neighbor, a criminal neighbor, living next door to you that you can't get off your back, that's victimizing your family. Same scenario, just now look at, it's like an analogy now on a wider scale. It's us and the government. So there's that. One of the things I wanted to talk about that Charlotte Iserby pointed out is how they get young children to rebel in our schools. And this is so very important. What they do, all right, where have you heard this before? Where have you heard this before? It doesn't matter who started it. It doesn't matter who started it. Remember when you were in school and you stood up for yourself because somebody was doing you wrong, and you said, and then you protected yourself. You either hit somebody or fought, pushed somebody away, or did something to defend yourself, and then they told on you and you got in trouble, and when the teacher said, and then when the teacher asked you why you did it, and you told the teacher, and the teacher said, you told the teacher that they started it, and the teacher said, it doesn't matter who started it. Well, I'm here to say all that matters is who started it. All that matters is who started it. Here's another thing. Remember when one kid did something wrong and they punished the entire class? Do you know what that is? That's called authoritarianism. When you make an example I'm running out of time here, but okay, when you make an example by punishing a whole bunch of people, you don't even know if you got the culprit, so you just punish all these people to make an example. Those are like, Nazi tactics, okay? So, that's called authoritarianism. So you're bringing your kid up to be truthful, to be just, to be fair, to defend themselves, right? And they're going to go to school, and as soon as they defend themselves, they're going to be told it doesn't matter who started it, when all that matters who started it. So now your kid's going to be confused. He thought he did the right thing, or she thought she did the right thing. right? And and then they're going to be getting two different sides of this. They're going to be and then they're going to learn. Then these kids are going to learn that, oh, the parents have no control over over what the schools do to them. So the kids are going to learn that the state is the boss, and they're going to learn things that are going to go contrary to what you're teaching them. They're going to learn it doesn't matter who started it. It doesn't matter. All that matters is who started it, because then you can decipher who's using force and who's using violence, and then decide who needs to be punished. Okay? So and they know that young boys, this is from Charlotte Iserby, they know that young boys are prone to rebel against authoritarianism. So when your son gets punished for something that somebody else did in a mass punishment, or when they get told they can't defend themselves because it doesn't matter who started it, your son is going to rebel, and maybe your daughter too, against that system, and they're going to be in trouble all the time, and they're going to get sucked into the system. Do you see how this works? This needs to be addressed. And I'm running out of time. I just thank you very much, and just a shout out to all the MGTOW out there, and ones I've been watching, like Shinu Asami, Trevor Friedman, all these people. I really like you, and I'm not looking for any help, and I don't even care about support. I'm just saying, just commending all these people for what you're doing. Thank you very much. It helps me very much.